Good afternoon, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. In this brand new world I'm floating around in. Listen, like and subscribe, comment, share. Oh my God. Since I learned that word to put in the opening, I got all these amazing videos. Some of them were really bad, but some of them were really good. So thank you for that opening that door of sharing to me. Once again, I'm Tom Nguyen, the conversationalist. Come on, guys, help me out. It's a new show program um, interface. Please, just like me. I'm needy that way. Like me. Tell me that I'm doing a good job. Don't make me beg like this. Anyway, it's what's up Wednesday. So listen, guys, I didn't want to do this. I was made to do this by my producer, the Wizard of Oz. So I'm gonna try to get through it. It's not gonna be my usual hour. It's gonna be about 40 minutes. But today was a big day. I signed out a lot of paperwork to get me out of my other obligations so I could spend the next 4 months with you wonderful people and the wizard. So let's get cracking. Uh, since I started this, a lot of people have watched my videos, and I sent my videos out to 7 people that I trust to get, their input, because everything's input. And the second thing is my production of videos, right? I mean, that's what we're here for. Well, guess what? I finally got the idea. However, most people are saying, "Do you slur your words always?" And I didn't see it, and my enunciation of certain words with certain endings is a little bit slurred. And I'm thinking, well, nobody's ever said that in my life. So after my first reaction was to kill them, I settled down and I tried to solve the problem. And as always, when I solve the problem, I go outside of myself, because every time I try to solve my problem, I have a greater problem. You understand how that works? So I got to get somebody that really knows what they're doing. So I called up the local college and I said, "Well, local college department of what the hell is going on Wednesday? Can you figure this out for me?" And of course, they hooked me up to the uh, speech and language department, and then they hooked me up with the speech analysis department. You got to understand, here in New York State, we have not only the Department of Farts, but we have the Department of Calculated Necessity part, and the one with the obviously loudest and longest in duration. And then you have the guys that work in the sewer plant who tell you how smelly your farts are. But I digress. That's another story. So I get hooked it up, and I got to go tomorrow morning. And, you know, I got slammed again today with 2 emails from friends saying, "I watched that thing last night and you sound terrible. And, get off the internet. You're a menace. You're too old. You're too ugly and too short." I understand all that. That's my crutch to bear. That's my cross to drag. I don't give a shit. Anyway, um, so I'm looking back through my life. In 1986, I was on my Harley. I had a beautiful fat boy, and I was cruising down this highway in Western New York. I lived in Andover, New York. You can look that up. So it's just a tiny village, but my wife was going to a state college out there to get her master's at the time. My first wife, this is not the green-eyed, red-haired Irish witch that I'm married to on a week-to-week contract. The first one, the crazy. Anyway, but boy, she had a hot body. Anyway, so I digress again. That's another story. So I'm going down the highway, and I give myself credit. For once, I wasn't doing 90 miles an hour. I had just come up behind somebody that was turning. So when they made their turn, their left turn, I cranked it up, man. I went, because I was going to work. I worked in a small restaurant, and So I was going to work. It was like middle of the afternoon, around 3 o'clock. I had to be there at 3 o'clock. So that's good. Usually I'm cruising, and this like a Ford. Uh, this is '86, so they were huge. They were enclosed pickup trucks, is what I call them. So he turned in front of me. I didn't have time to stop, so I hit him right in the door. I went through the side window, the whole 9 yards, everything that they tell you about motorbikes on that day came true. So I wound up in a coma for 29 days and like total of 39 months learning how to walk and talk. And I'm sure that a lot of people were wishing that they wouldn't teach me to talk, but I fooled them. I paid an extra $20 to the therapist to teach me how to talk again. I got you guys back. Anyway, I was up in Strong Memorial Hospital. That's another story. It's in Rochester. Look it up. It's a really good hospital. And I'll tell you about bed sores. I've never had bed sores in my life, but I got them there. And I'll tell you about, being addicted to morphine and all that. But that's another story. I digress. I love that word. Do you not say it over and over again? It's like a mantra. Digress. Anyway, so I gotta get back on the subject, or the wizard's gonna zap me. Understand, I never saw that I couldn't. I went to Catholic school, for Christ's sake. I am perfect in every way. Just ask Mary Teresa. She's the one that said, Tom, you have a beautiful voice. You need to sing in a solo. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm going to stand in front of everybody and sing. She says, no, not quite. You should sing so low that the only person that hears you is God. That way, you'll be in harmony with everybody else. So sing in your mind, Tom. And then years later, I found out what she was talking about, and I had fantasies of bombing her convent. But that's another story. I'm not really a violent man. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm no longer a violent person, simply because God took my legs away and said, it sucks to be you, pal. But that's another story. Jesus, where am I going? So let's get back to the real thing. Here it is. So if everybody in your life, or say in the 80 percentile, is telling you something's wrong, take it from me. It's time to go and see. Because, at 50, the check engine light came on, and I ignored it till 60, and then I had my dissection. So if I can be an example to anybody, when the check engine light comes on at 50, get it checked. Don't ignore it like most guys put a sticker over it and say, oh, it doesn't exist. So once again, all right, Josh, pop in here. Keep me on track. Tell me something good.
Well, let's see. Some of the good things that happened are you're going to get your speech looked at. Interesting. We'll find something out there, right?
Right.
What's that going to be, anyhow?
All right, so let me stop for a commercial break here. As you know, I support St. Jude. Every birthday, I raise money in my cuss jar, which is copious right now again. I should have emptied it today and had it sent off, but I send that to St. Jude. And today in the meeting, we decided that we would send it 1 month to St. Jude and 1 month to Aortic Hope. So, we're not talking a lot of money, about $100. I mean, and most of the money is mine because I do the most. See, I'm supposed to say frog when I'm supposed to say fuck. But yeah. See, I said the word and two heads popped out of the stairwell. How is that possible? Everybody's supposed to be downstairs leaving me alone at this point because I'm on the air. And when I said that word, two heads popped out of the stairwell. It's like whack-a-mole. You whack them and they pop up again. Jeez. So, but here I am off the track again. So anyway, I got to go in and get a dental exam and x-rays, which I did. That's all done. That paperwork's into the Department of Better Speech. It's not really the department, but I gave it that name. And now tomorrow, 11:30, or maybe I leave at 11:30 and it's at 12 o'clock. I go to this lab and they put this gizmo on your head that hooks, wires to your jaw and to your cheekbones and your ear and little bones up here on the side of your head that move when you talk. And it's all electrical pickups. So, they get a 3D image of your face and how your jaw's moving, your tongue, and all that stuff, and what happens in your throat, because your throat develops that tone and timbre. And so the reason why I said that in '86 I had the motorcycle accident with a long recovery from it, that's the trauma in my life, right? Now I don't want to. I don't want to bore you with these stories about, when I was in law enforcement, Richie Iannacone was my mentor, my TO. And I had a habit. I developed it as a kid. I was I am a fire hydrant. I was a fire hydrant as a kid. I had short legs, short arms, this big barrel chest, and no neck. And basically I was, R2D2. And so I couldn't run as fast as other kids, but I developed this thing where I would get on this fire escape. Oh my God. How do I explain fire escape to Gen Z and Gen? It's a metal staircase hanging on the side of the building, usually rusty as shit, that every criminal goes out the door and jumps on and runs down to get away, which is stupid because there's guys on the ground that are going to pick you up before you get off this thing anyway. But they all do it, and some of them go to the roof. But I have a clear rule: if they went to the roof, sucks to be me. I don't go to the roof. I don't ever go to the roof. Okay. So one day Richie pulled me aside. We were in New York City, and I had just bounded down like 4 flights. I was on the landing, and I jumped to the next landing, turned the corner, and jumped down to the next landing. But at the time, I had these monstrous tree trunks for legs, and I worked them, every day. And I worked my arms and shoulders and everything. So I'm jumping down, let's say just for shits and giggles, 50 feet, 10 feet at a time, or 12 feet at a time. And I get to the bottom, and I'm perfectly okay. And Richie's behind me by about 2 flights, breathing like the old man he was. And he gets down there and he grabs my shoulder, and I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna pass the hell out. And he says to me, kid, you're gonna ruin your knees, man. Don't be jumping like that and land on those hard, unforgiving surfaces. Well, here 50 years later, I got 2 brand new knees. And I digress. But anyway, that was leading me into that I've broken, my jaw's been broken like 4 times. My nose has been broken more times than I can remember. I had my front 4 teeth removed by a good friend with a wine bottle at a bar. He just sucker punched me out of nowhere. And when I didn't fall down and didn't pass out, because to be honest with you, I was inebriated too. In full disclosure, I was drunk as a skunk at that time. It was a bar that all the officers went to afterwards, and it was a rowdy place. Nobody even noticed that he had hit me with the wine bottle, and he was my good friend. So he panics when I don't fall down, and he splits ass down the bar, and he goes into this telephone booth. Well, at the time, telephone booths, this is back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, they had wooden telephone booths, and you sat in them, and the telephone was in front of you on the back corner wall, and in the door was 2 glass panels that went from the top to the bottom. So when you closed the door, the light came on, everybody could see you. So if you were smart, you hit the button with your foot and close the door, and you'd be in dark, and nobody could see you. That's a little known thing from the 1940s movies. But holy shit, Tom, you're off the topic again. What the hell's wrong, Tom? Get me back. So anyway, so I go running after him. I'm like, I don't even know I don't have teeth in my front 4. So I go running after him. He pops in the booth, closes the door. He's got his knee up against the middle section so you can't open the door. And he's laughing. This sucker His name was, we called him E. What was it? God, Tom, wake up. I'll remember his name. It started with an E, but he was a really nice Polish guy, and I really liked him. He liked me, and we still became were friends after this incident. However, at the time, all I knew was I was bleeding out of my mouth. So in my 22-year-old mind, I'm saying, are you stupid? You can't go anyway. You are my perfect target. Now, if I picked up a chair and used his legs and pounded the shit out of him, I wouldn't have got hurt like I did. But in my 22-year-old mind says, take this guy out. And I punched through the glass, hit him in the face, knocked him cold. And now I can't get the door open because he's still got his knee on it, but he's out cold. And I look at my hand and I've got this almost 3-inch scar. I still have it. You know, an open gaping wound. I'm bleeding from my mouth, and all of a sudden, you know, all the drunks in the bar. There's probably a half a dozen firemen, EMT guys, so they come rushing over and they're stuffing bar towels. Which, if you think about it, a dirty old wipe-up towel from a bar being stuck in your mouth is not where you want to be. Because I'm bleeding out of my mouth, and one of the guys, I think it was Jimmy Lowry. Yeah, it was Jimmy Lowry. He was a lieutenant in the fire department up in Trenton, New Jersey, and he was also an EMT instructor. So he puts this dirty rag in my mouth, which I'm so appreciative. It's just, why not just put a handful of ice in my mouth and get the bleeding to stop? No, he sticks this dirty rag in my mouth. Then he notices my hand, and he's got another dirty rag that he wraps my hand up. Then they put me in somebody's car, and I'm bleeding all over their car, and they're having a fit, and I'm off to the hospital. I think it was in Hamilton, New Jersey. I had to go, which was like 15, 20 minutes down the road. Don't quote me on that because I don't remember a lot of this because I was 22 years old and drunk. Once again, I digress. What I'm saying is that's another trauma to my mouth. And after the accident, I had my face rebuilt because obviously I shredded my face after the motorcycle out, and I cracked like all these bones in my face and my neck. And, you know, if you go through a side window, especially back in 86, you know, those things were actually glass and thick and, you know, took a lot. Although I did have a beanie helmet on. So that did break the glass, but PSA, 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 do not wear beanie helmets. Wear full helmets with face shields and neck guards. That way, if you go down and you're in gravel, at least your head's protected, but your ass is going to be sanded. Oh, as an old biker thing. That's another story. Anyway, so I had in 86, I had my whole face and most of the bones in my face fixed. And I blame the surgeon because he wasn't real good. He came in stuck in a toothpick for the way I look today. But that's another story. I digress again. I love that word. Anyway, so these are all traumas that happened in my head and jaws and face. And like I said, I broke my nose, I broke my jaw a couple of times. And, you know, there was a period in there I had wrecked 19 cars. I think by the time I was 28, I had wrecked 19 cars. The good thing about it was that 11 of the 19 were actually state of New Jersey cars, and they were wrecked in the performance of my duty. But the other 9 were basically my fault. Even if it wasn't my fault, if you wreck 9 cars and that's your 10 years, it's your fault. And I digress again. So let's get back to this. So I'm going to go in this place, and they're going to put this shit all over my face, and they're going to make me recite, Mary has a little lamb. Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jill came down with $2.50 from the $5 because she wasn't a really good job. They got to have all these sequences, and I'm supposed to say these odd words. I watched the video and pretty much got the gist of how it works, which is a wonderful thing about the internet. If you're going for procedures, say you got like fungal toe, and I know there's a lot of people out there with fungal toe. You can't tell me in this day and age with everybody walking around with these silly shoes on that you don't have fungal toe. And that's another video because raising boys, you get a lot of fungal toe in the house. So, I digress. Anyway, so here I am. I'm watching this video and it was like 4 years old. So the equipment has advanced and they ask a lot more procedural questions and diagnostic questions. Procedural questions is the functioning, and diagnostic is when they're getting you to do things and you don't want to do them, but you do them anyway so that they can do a proper analysis. If you think I know anything what I just said, forget it. It is something I wrote down. It's right here alongside of me because when I get over there, I don't want to think everybody to think I'm a hillbilly. Even though I am a hillbilly, you know, we're at the top of the Appalachian Mountains here. We are not rednecks. We are hill people. Most of us want bottom land, but most of us get the side of the hill and we make the best we can do. So if I can stay on topic and, you know, Josh leaves me alone for 10 seconds, I'm telling you that tomorrow I'm going to be smarter and I'm going to have more knowledge because they do this conference afterwards and tell you all your deficits. So I said to him, how long does this take? And she says, about a half an hour. I said, well, you better put another hour on that because my deficits are endless. She's saying, no, you don't understand. It's just about your speech deficits. And I said, oh, okay, well, we probably can get that out in an hour. I said, remember, I was born in Brooklyn. I was raised in Staten Island. I was a teenager in South Jersey, outside of Philadelphia, going to the shore. I spoke, my mother used to say, I spoke Italian, right? I read Italian. I could write Italian. But my mother called it Brooklyn Italian because my emphasis on words and my diction was so bad that she couldn't find any place in Italy that I would fit in. This is my mother. And you ask why I am this way? You lived 10 days in my past life with my mother, my German grandfather, my German grandmother, my father who worked 12 hours a day and the only thing I knew about him was he was an alcoholic. And see where you come out. Oh, God. Oh, so let me get Josh in here. Josh, have we posted the links for Aortic Hope and for St. Jude yet?
Oh, they'll be in the comment section. They're in your descriptions.
Good.
Yep.
Good, guys. Remember, like, subscribe, comments, share. You know, come on. I want you to do it for me because, you know, I'm egomaniacal and I enjoy it. So, but I'm saying it for St. Jude and for Aortic Hope. I didn't tell you. Last night I met some really nice people, but two stand out in my mind. I think his name was Mike and Terry. So a shout out to them. Guys, it was a pleasure talking to you. I'm sorry we stayed on the line about a half an hour too long, but when you're dealing with me, you better clear your calendar for at least an hour after you think we're going to get over. Sucks to be you. But there is also the off button, so you can always do that, which I found and I'm using a lot, you know, internet interruption, and all of a sudden I go dead. You know, it's kind of like gargling into your phone saying, I'm going into a tunnel. I won't be able to talk to you. So here we go. I'm off into the sunset again. Stay on topic, Tom.
Right on topic. And so you're reciting these words. You're talking about the talk after. Did they give you any idea what the is there a therapy? Is there a practice? Is there anything like that you should expect going on?
Before we got into that discussion, because you got to have the pre-interview, which you know, with some intern asking a whole couple of pages of questions. She doesn't care what you say. She's just asking the questions and being recorded, which is another phenomenon. You know, you ask somebody a question, you don't have to write it down anymore. You just record it. Isn't that wonderful? I love it. So they'll get their group together. We'll go have something to eat at the Choke and Puke on campus. I'll probably just get a cup of coffee. not Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts. They do have a Dunkin' Donuts. I'd look that up. Get a sinker for dunking and make everybody gross around me. So here's the best part of it. So that you go back and you get all this analysis. So in the video, there was a part of the video about all these things that it could be. And what do they start off with? Come on, guys. Answer the question. What was the first thing they mentioned on the video? Your age. What? Frog you. See, I don't have to put any money in the test jar. So first it's age, then it's trauma to the bones and throat, which I've had numerous times, broken jaws, nose, neck and collarbones. I can't donate parts, organs and things, but I got all this mechanical shit in me that they could take out and have a junk set. I'm serious. I've got stents and knees and shoulder cups, and I have a piece of plastic in my left subclavian, and in my right subclavian, I've got a piece of metal because I broke it so many times. It just flip incinerate. The other day I fell down, put my shoulder out, wound up going to Albany, and had immediate surgery. Not to fix it, but just make it so it didn't fall out anymore. All they did was make it so that when I raise my arm, I don't pop my own shoulder out. Now, they want a total replacement of it, but once again, I'm 73, and my thinking, even from 2 years ago, is I'm tired. I don't want to do anymore. So unless it, no, I can't even say that. I don't want any more surgery. And if I pass away because, my prostate blew up, so be it. Anyway, so you get all this information. They put in a report. They do the videotaping of you at the end. They videotape the whole thing. So we might, if it's not proprietary, I'll be able to show it here on one of the channels, and you can see just what the exit thing was. But it's a college, and you have to be real careful because the people within there can't be shown on camera. They have a lot of rules like that. So this time, 3 o'clock tomorrow, I am going to be more knowledgeable about why everybody's saying I'm lisping and slurring and enunciation is off, and I'm willing to put up $100. And in the comment section, you just at $10 increments, you can cover it, and 99%. My thinking is the first one's going to be old, the second one is going to be trauma, and the third one is going to be mental trauma from my childhood. And I'm back in that goo da because basically I'm a child at 73. At least that's what my children think, and now my grandchildren are starting to think I am a child. But that's another story. Tom, stay on track. So I got you through the whole thing, right? Soups to nuts. I walk in, I have the pre-conference, I go in to get the services done. Oh, good morning, Cooper. This is Cooper, my service dog. He just came over to say good morning. He's been a lazy dog all day. I think this is only the second time he got up today. But yesterday he had training. They really wore him out for an hour and a half. He's going to be a cardio and balance dog. And he looks like his face is Malinois, Belgian, but his body's more like a short-hair lab. And recently he got some folds on his face, so he probably has some mastiff in him. But here I'm off the track. Oh, yeah, you're such a good boy. And right now he's laying on my feet, so he must be predicting that I'm going to have an AFib attack. But when he senses that I'm going to have an AFib, I always have AFib, but sometimes it gets worse. Cooper, leave it. Comes over, and if I'm sitting, he'll lay on my feet and won't let me up. And yes, and if I'm standing, he'll push me into a seated position, and if he has to, he'll push me on the floor, and then he'll lay on top of me until he figures the issue is either resolved. If things get bad and I pass out, he'll bark until somebody comes. But if I don't pass out, if I just fall out, he'll only bark once. So that's pretty cool, right? And he's only 7 months. So he's really a smart dog, except for our pug can find treats anywhere. You throw a handful of treats down, this dog can find, I don't care if they're in the back of the refrigerator behind the washer. The pug will find it. This one, it's not worth the effort. He gets the easy pickings because he can swat the pug out of the way, but I digress again. Yeah, I'm talking about you, pal. So that's what he's doing right now. That's why I'm kind of awkward. He's snuggling into my ankles to the point where I think they're going to break. So tomorrow we're all going to be smarter about my condition. But like I said, there's $100 in the comment. Anybody who wants, I'll do 10 for 10. I'm not giving you any odds because it's probably a slam dunk. But you can have 10, you can have 20, you can have 30, you can take the whole bunch. I don't care. But it's $10 increments. No $2 bets, in other words, you sheepies. And I'm talking about you, Benny, and Dunkin' Donuts. You're the one that would come in and try to put down 50 cents. Anyway, so I'm off the topic again. So anyway, here I am, smarter and wiser and none the cuter tomorrow about 3 o'clock. So that's the whole story in a nutshell, what I have to go through tomorrow. And when you go to hell, you go through purgatory, right? And they do your life there. It's kind of like that movie where the guy is suing the devil and trying to get out of going to hell. It's an old movie from I think it was 1934. Don Amici was the actor. And Claude Rains was the devil. It's a really great movie. Anyway, so here I'm on movie topic. What's wrong with me? I think my mind goes too many directions for the internet. I think I have to be more focused. Write that down, Josh, the Wizard of Oz. Focus Tom on what he's saying and don't let him go off track so much. We'll do that next week. So, like, subscribe, comment, share. Help my buddies out at St. Jude. Right now, I'm sponsoring 2 children and their families simply because the money's running low, guys. People are not donating like they used to. And that's important that we keep these. You know how much good Danny Thomas, when he took over this little podunk hospital and made it into the children's center, and the primary issue was cancer. But now that we're fixing the cancer, he's going into heart surgery and everything else. They have built brand new, humongous buildings. And you might say to yourself, Tom, easy. Dude, Danny Thomas, this famous actor that you always saw with this big, huge Cuban in his hand or in his face, how do you know him? Well, let me tell you the story. Morning Glory. I didn't know him. I knew his daughter, Marlo. We interacted on something. I don't remember exactly what it was, and she'd never remember me because at that time I was, pimple face and probably didn't even want to look at girls, let alone talk to them. But I met Danny Thomas at a few occasions in New York City and at the Victory Boulevard Theater in Staten Island, which for me was, this guy was on TV, and Danny Thomas, you don't know anything about, but look him up. He was quite an entertainer, and he was a very smart guy. I mean, this guy could make, 50 cents out of 2 dimes by rubbing them together. And he was smart, and he smoked cigars, and he was my idol. So I got interested in what he got interested in, and I decided at first I would just, whatever money I'd throw on the top of the bureau would go to them, and I would make Christmas donations. And then my first wife, the crazy one, said, Tom, why don't you always put these big parties on at your birthday, April the 3rd. Remember, Tom's birthday is April the 3rd. I want gifts, money donations. I don't do drugs anymore, but I do make gummies. So Oh, copper tubing for my still, that always wears out, so I always need that. Gift certificates to Lowe's or Home Depot are always acceptable. And not to be repetitive, but April the 3rd is Tom's birthday. So just want to write that into your calendar and, take care of this old man because I'm exiled from my family. I live in my 2005 truck and I'm just pitiful. So you should take care of me. Look at this face. Isn't this a face somebody should take care of? Like with a sledgehammer or something, So Josh, that's it. I put it all together while I was signing papers today. And as you know, I got down there about 11:30 and I got back up here at a quarter of 3. And I even took a nap in the recliner there for about 20 minutes and they just went on with the meeting without me. So that tells you how important I am. I'm divested from all my companies now, except for this Terran Media. And they gave me custody of Josh. So
yay me.
As the wizard, and nobody gets to see the wizard, not never, not no how. And to prove that point, last night at 10 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Pacific time, we were having a meeting, which turned into quite a great work session. And while we were having a meeting and we were trying to get Josh to, give his input, he was too busy gaming. It was like we were interrupting. I mean, he's the producer of the show, and we're interrupting him while he's gaming.
It's after 10. After 10 is game time.
All right, so listen, it's important for you to know that I will send people to your house. I have no qualms about calling up a guy I know who knows another guy out by you who would bring other guys in that they know so that we got a guy that can come and tap you on the shoulder, not even knock on the door, just show up and tap you on the shoulder and says, Tom's trying to reach you. I have that power. I'm old, so over the years, I've gained that power.
The sneaker net.
We didn't have the internet back when. We only had associations. And what I mean by associations is not friendship. These are people within the same industry as you, whether it's law enforcement, the mafia, or whatever, because they're all the same. Every cop could be a criminal. Every criminal could be a cop at one stage in their life. Obviously, when you get felonies, you can't be a cop anymore. But that's another story. So, Josh, listen, tell these good people that I'm worth supporting. And lie, and I'll put an extra $100 in that transfer.
Right on. Like and subscribe. Tom's life story is going to be one of my favorite things to capture for sure. Also, Tom's adventures going across X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit are currently underway. Find us anywhere.
Nice. I see. I wouldn't have thought to say all that. That's why you're the wizard. I may be Obi-Wan Kenobi, but you are the wizard. No one gets to see the wizard. No how, no way. Because if you go behind the curtain, you'll turn to dust.
And again, we have one final message for everyone. Vote.
Well, I wasn't going to do that yet.
What?
Seeing as you're the producer. And I'm just a talent. Makeup! What do we have? I think we have 28 days left or something.
Voting has started in some places already.
Oh, yeah. I'm still from the generation that voted on one day. And why did we vote on one day? Because on one day, you could only commit so much fraud you could get from polling booths. One day you turned in, if you had an old person that could come out, you turned in the ballot, right? And the only way to get the ballot was for the old person, which made no sense to me. You get the ballot so you don't have to show up at the polling place, but you have to go down to the local polling office to get the ballot in person. Squeeze me, save me a trip, let me do it one time. But now you can, in New York State, it's like, 45 days before election day. That, and the only reason you need to get a ballot or a paper ballot to be mailed in or dropped off is you want one. There's no longer a disability or anything else, just convenience. I want one. So now we vote for 45 days in New York State. Never had so much corruption in my, I never have seen so much corruption in my life. They are always finding ballot box with votes and they got pushed off into the linen closet or the janitor's closet and they find them, 3 years later. And I believe personally that the number of incidents reported where they find this is probably 10 times greater because everybody who finds them just dumps them or burns them because they don't want to admit that they screwed up. So for every one that is accounted for, I bet you there's 4 or 5 more. But that's my opinion. Listen, children out there, Josh does not agree with all my opinions. So I'm speaking for myself. That's just gets Josh off the hook legally. But if I'm on the hook legally, if he's on the hook legally, whether he likes it or not. And I got a notification. Who was that from? Was that YouTube or Facebook? That they had to take a video down because my left ear was lower than my right.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Yeah. Yeah, my left ear was lower than my right, and they thought it was demonic, so they took my video down. That's not true, but it's a good story. So, as I have Cooper on my feet still, and I'm starting to cough, and that's called a cardiac cough. And you use Tessalon pearls and honey to keep yourself from coughing too much, so therefore you have another dissection or you blow an aneurysm or your false lumen pops open, which I have a leaking false lumen, so if I cough too hard, I could pop that false lumen open. I could stroke out, whatever. So those are the things I have to look for, and that's why I have a service dog to help me look because I'm old and I miss things. Let's see. Last night wasn't poker because everybody was busy. So this Tuesday night, the poker game is going to be stupendous. I'm going to cook for the whole day before because we got some new people coming. And yes, state of New York, we only play for chips. No monetary value. Got to say that too.
I have to say, like in Maryland, it's precluded people from playing poker because you're not allowed to have more than $250 in anything. Otherwise, it's considered like gambling.
Right? Isn't that a weird way to do it?
It makes no sense to me whatsoever. In the state of West Virginia, where they have legalized casinos, similar laws apply. However, I have heard something very interesting. They allow for children's card games, things like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, whatever. They allow these kids to participate in these tournaments that award cash prizes greater than $250.
Right.
So adults can't play poker, but kids can gamble on tournament fees for card games.
See that? Wait a minute. Do you see that as a bad thing? Because
I'm just saying that what is going on.
No. Answer the question. Don't beat around like a politician. Is it a bad thing in your eyes or a good thing that kids are playing these card games?
I think it's a great thing that kids are playing the card games. Right? Because this is an exercise in competition, and despite what some people may say about these games, Magic the Gathering has a quotient of difficulty that is greater than chess because of the moving pieces and the moving variables at play. So it's by inherent, it's more difficult to play than chess. It's more difficult to be good at it than chess. And again, because it's such a new game in the spectrum of games, it's disregarded. It's disregarded. Yeah.
It has to make its bones. Come on.
So hold on.
Nobody walks in and you're the expert.
And because we're talking about this is transitioning for me over into the loot box, right? Kids gambling on card games to me is the same problem that video games currently have today. They have this stupid feature where they give you a random opportunity to win a prize, and because they're doing this, they're getting kids into this frame of mind where they're looking for silly little winnings. They're looking for what is that thing where you pull the lever down and it, whatever the slot machines, right? This
Mm.
whole thing, and it's the behavioral analysis of what gets lit up in the kids' brains when they're doing it. It's already a problem that video games are engineered so that people get addicted to them in the first place. But to introduce gambling to children, this to me, I don't know. I'm not a parent.
Well, once again, we're on the opposite side of thinking on this. We'll probably hit the same point in the middle as we always do. But you've got this, and don't take this the wrong way, but this fucked up fairy tale way to get. I heard every word you said, but I zoned you out in about a third of the way through because your minutia sometimes just I get lost in it. So, and that's simply because I don't know the vernacular, and I can't discern where you're going until you finally say it. So that being said, I learned to count. I learned strategy. I learned poker when I was a kid. I learned jacks and eights, and uh, 3-card poker and 5-card poker, 7-card poker. It told you that you have to do math. There's 52 cards. There's only so many cards of this, and you have one, and you just saw him throw away one. So what's the odds? And bing, the bottom, and boom. That's how I learned my skills in math. And lucky for me, with all the trauma I've had, I never lost my math skills. And that's made math skills, believe it or not, if you want to go into marketing, you should get a math degree because everything in marketing, which is an area I love to do, marketing. I even answer questions that people don't ask me because I love to solve marketing problems. It's just like I'm like I wanted to say savant, but that's not true. I'm an idiot when it comes to marketing. I just love putting campaigns together, and when I'm successful, I'm so happy, and I'm drinking Crown Royal. And when not successful, which is most of the time, I'm drinking my beer and crying in my beer at the same time. So once again, we're off the topic, but I wanted to say, Josh, thanks. I appreciate all your support in getting me through this. Oh, guys, guess what? Today's Wednesday. I got 2 more days of being in class at 10 o'clock in the morning. I got to do some housekeeping if you don't mind, Josh. Okay. With the critique of my speaking, they critique my clothes and the way I cut my hair and that, little black mark on the side of my face with the 3 fingers coming out of it. Like the old lady, the Italians have the hairs. I got 3 fingers coming out, so they want me to remove that because it's distracting. But Megan not only sent me 1 email, she sent me 4. And Megan is a personal designer from New York City, claiming I almost passed out. I thought she was going to say I was a father, but no, I knew her father in another lifetime. I think he trained brontosauruses or something, like in the quarry at the Jetsons. I think he was the guy that trained them. But still, after 3 or 4 days, I'm like, after talking to this person, I don't know the connection, but it will come back probably in the middle of the night. So anyway, Megan says, man, what a good looking guy. So I'm thinking at this point, is she talking about me? I never considered you. I'm not in the guy, sorry. So she said, love the hair. Do not do anything with your hair. It makes you stand out. It is a bold statement. So then she says, have somebody shape your beard and make it to one length. And I mean, not one length, sorry. Make the sides one length and do the long thing in the middle and use more beard oil. And she recommended a beard oil that, but I won't say it because we'll probably get in trouble, but I'll send it to you. She says it makes the beard more manageable and soft, and it gives it a shimmer. Now, a shimmer like a shine?
I think it's a more subtle shine.
Okay. But, she's saying just trim up the sides better, and she likes the long goat well, we used to call them goatees, and now it looks like a billy goat's beard. But anyway, she said, once again, I got to tell you, don't cut the hair. Don't cut the hair. Whatever your hair products are good, you're using are really good because it has a really nice deep shine. My hope is that you don't have to color your hair yet. But when you do, when you start seeing gray, go to your local professional store or go to a professional and have your hair done. It will last longer and your hair won't be as damaged as much. Although coloring hair damages it no matter what, there is lesser degrees. And most professionals, either that sell them or actually do the process, will be better in the long run for your hair health. Is a big okay.
Thank you, man.
And the last thing she says, are you single? Probably not, because somebody like you with your voice and looks has a special someone. However, if you're looking for someone, not only am I available, but I have 3 girlfriends. So we could do a pick and choose. What's a pick and choose?
I don't know, but usually when I get involved with 3 women, I don't pick or choose.
Okay, well, she says you can do a pick and choose. I just assume it was like everybody meets up together, and if you got connection with one person or 2 people, well, I'm really happy about 3 people. That vision really just made my day. But anyway, I gotta sign off because I'm tired. It's been a rough day. Had to deal with Josh first thing in the morning, and attorneys and accountants and my daughter. Like, the most traumatizing one was my daughter. I mean, I got these guys that have 8 years of schooling and all these degrees on their wall and all these fancy cases. And my daughter, 26-year-old RN administrator, tear them apart like, she's a Rottweiler and they're bunny rabbits. I mean, it added to the length of the conversation. I know, even though it was satisfying to her to tear these people apart, but for not having what they needed or weren't prepared or, did not have precise numbers. They had to call this other accounting facility we use for the numbers, and that really ticked her off. So, you got to live with the good and the bad. And right now, the influences of my wife and my daughter and the dog. So we're talking the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the good is the dog. So remember bad and ugly. And ugly, obviously, is my wife, because, gosh, you've seen her. She's a walking, Halloween costume.
She's an angel on this planet.
You have to be with me, but that doesn't get her out of a week-to-week contract. She's on the week-to-week contract, and you know why. So until you correct that situation, you will be on a week-to-week contract. That's my PSA. So let's get out of the room and have our private conversation, because this was fun and I really enjoyed it. And then I'll make the video with whatever they give me permission to use, which I think, because of the research facility and this pharmaceutical firm is backing them, I don't think I'll be able to post anything from there, from what they give me. But that doesn't mean that, because I'm new, I don't know which buttons I'm pushing. So I may have 30 seconds here or 20 seconds there. But once again, that's just because I don't know what I'm doing and I'm pushing the wrong buttons. It's not something I'm doing intentionally to violate any kind of non-disclosure agreement that I might or might not have signed, not in the presence of my attorney. That's another PSA. If your attorney is not there to approve your signature, did you really sign it, and were you under duress at the time of signature? So remember, if a cop comes up and requires you to sign a ticket, sign the damn ticket and give it back to him. Doesn't matter, because we don't know, because his body cam was turned off, how much pressure he put you under to sign that. Or maybe you had to go to the bathroom and the only way for you to hit the head was to sign the ticket. There's circumstances, go far and beyond just the direct order to sign the ticket. However, that being said, sign the ticket every time, and we can dispute it later. Not we, I'm not an attorney, but I'm an attorney representative who's used attorneys and been in court more than you can believe, both civil and criminal. I don't have any convictions, not one. You can look back to 86 when they put all this stuff in the computers. If you go before that, you have to do manual records. But if you look back, I have never been caught in any of the things I've ever or maybe never did in my life. So that rumor that Carl at XKI is wrong. I am not a convicted felon, and I can prove it. I don't know how, but I guess Josh can prove it. If you look up my FBI stats, I have no criminal record.
Yet.
I'm not going to have one now because I'm not fast enough. I mean, for me to do like stick ups would be hysterical. Can you help me in the car? Hold my wheelchair while I transition. No, that I can't be a stick up guy. I can't steal cars. How would that work? I have to bring my own hand controls. What the hell? See, everything's changed from when I was a kid. We used to borrow the neighbor's car and ride it around till it ran out of gas, but we were always careful. We didn't damage it. We didn't burn holes in seats with our cigarettes. We didn't bang things, so. But now, shit, you steal a car and there's 32 cops chasing you down the 105 in LA. What's that all about? And then the other thing is, are you stupid? When the cop says get out of the car, lay flat down, let him cuff you and take you into the cruiser. This one guy I saw, he's running away. But there's a police car that says canine unit. You're running away. You got to get out of the car. Now, you've been in the car for half an hour while they chase you, so your legs are a little numb. And now you're outside the car. Instead of going and do what the cop says, you're running away. Now, everybody out there, it seems like they have these high 12, 20-foot walls around their house. So you're running down the sidewalk, but basically there's a wall gate that's locked or electronically locked, and then walls and mobile. So you only have one place. You're not going to climb the wall. So, and you got a canine on your ass. That's stupidity. But, I love you guys. Man, I can't tell you how much I love you guys. I mean, all God's blessings. Thank you for letting me have your time. The most important thing in life is time, not money. Money's a tool to get other things. Like, subscribe, comment, share. That's the new word. And, our secret about Josh the Troll and Megan's relationship will stay with us. The flying monkeys are warned not to go to the witches and transfer this information just because you're sitting back there. All you flying monkeys, just put your ass in the chair. Josh, you've been a good person and I really like you, so don't make me kill you. And I guess we're done.